All right.
Hello, everybody. Let me just quickly start. I'm going to start. This is such. Where's David?
Right here, right here.
Thank you, David, for inviting me back. Is this our second or third one?
Third.
This is a third one. David's a remarkable man, and what he provides is something that's very powerful. I don't know whether any of you have done this rock camp before. I know Scott has. But the love that we're going to make and the memories we're going to make are going to be long-lasting. Some of you are going to end up in bands with each other. Am I right, David?
Yeah.
So let's enjoy the afternoon and let's go.
So, I would say welcome to Arizona, but we live here. And as I was thinking yesterday, Alice was here. He's kind of an OG from the 70s. You moved here, I think, in the 80s, right?
Yeah. Yes, I've been here since 81.
81.
It's a long time ago.
And so I have to ask, Desert Plains? Right?
Yes.
Yes. His point of entry was, of course, that album, right? So, and I knew kind of through the grapevine that you were living out here.
Yeah.
You were mentoring a band called Surgical Steel.
Yes.
It's really great background here.
Yes.
So,
It was a. You remember the 80s?
oh, yeah, barely, but I do.
Yeah, I barely do as well until 86 when I became clean and sober. But what a great time that was, the 80s. If any of you were there, for music, it was extraordinary. It was absolutely extraordinary. Some of the greatest things happened in the 80s, exclusively as rock and roll was getting heavier and harder and tougher with some of those early bands that started up. And so it was a blessing to be in America, which is what I'm getting to be in America in the 80s, you know, around the time of British Steel and there isn't a list, where's the list? British Steel and all of those other albums and all the friends I made, you know, so yes, firstly, God bless America, because I love this country, and all the great bands that have been making music here, particularly to the 80s.
And then moving forward, so it's funny, Alice was 70s, you're 80s, Megadeth, you moved here in the 90s.
Yeah.
Some of us stayed, and here we are. And you do an incredible job. Alice is always out and about, and I never hear of, like, I had a Rob Halford sighting at Trader Joe's last Tuesday, right? You're very quiet.
It's crazy because we're neighbours, you know, I can walk to his house in 20 minutes and we never see each other. But that's the way it is, as you know, in rock and roll.
Yeah.
We usually see each other in a truck stop or
in Belgium or something.
yeah, some bizarre places you're on your way to the stage for a quick grip and grin. But he's a remarkable man.
So you've had this unbelievable career, Rob. I mean, from, you know, we just did, of course, Back to the Beginning, which I saw you were trying very hard to get back there.
Yes.
You know, I always said, you know, the origin story is Black Sabbath and Judas Priest. You were right there in the same years in Birmingham at the same time. And maybe speak to just that origin of, because we know rock, we know hard rock, we know heavy metal. You identify and are the charisma of heavy metal. Just talk about
yeah, it's extraordinary because, you know, those two bands, we invented heavy metal music between the two of us. We hadn't got a clue what we were doing. You know? The great thing about music at that time, of course, through the late 60s especially, when everything was getting louder, when Jim Marshall first made his 100-watt stack, guitar players went, right, everything's going to 11. So the singers are going, what am I going to do? How am I going to hear myself? So I'm going to sing louder. I'm going to start screaming. The drummers started playing harder. Everything got louder. So I think that was part of the idea for Priest to try and get into that development in music and sound and power. But yeah, I don't know whether you like me, but I can just go instantly back to the very first rehearsal that Judas Priest had in this little place, little jam place near where I live in Walsall. It was used by Judas Priest and Slade. Slade used to bang away there for a rehearsal. Because there were no rehearsal facilities in those days. You just wherever you could make a noise. But those early moments, those early sounds and roots of heavy metal came from the Black Country, the West Midlands. And it's just a lot of pride. I feel a lot of pride and an emotion to say that I was there from day one.
Yeah. So talking about singing and getting over Marshall stacks and the volume, everything that was going on, you obviously have found a technique, a way, a sound. As I go back through 50 years of Judas Priest, the 70s, of course, was sort of the formation, figuring it out. By the time the 80s came around, Tom Allen was producing new records. You developed a new sound, kind of as you would say, maybe a sound perfect for America, for MTV. The 90s, we got to share the stage with Painkiller. You took Megadeth out. It was Rust in Peace for us. That was a new decade. Everything was harder, faster, even more intense, and on and on and on as it goes, right? So what is it? Because look, you have probably influenced more, certainly rock and for sure heavy metal singers than anyone else on the entire planet. And we have a list of songs, as you see, in a bunch of bands that we're going to be jamming with. What is some secret sauce that you could share, maybe without, if you want to keep the secret, but some secret sauce, maybe.
What? Just to be in the band?
To be the sing, yeah, to sing over this music and to have the sound that you have.
Well, firstly, you've got to love it with extraordinary passion. You know, I've always said, when you go on any stage anywhere in the world, you've really got to walk up to that stage. You have no choice. It becomes such an embodied part of who you are and your being. I always say that I never feel as though I'm truly alive until I'm singing with the band or any band. Something comes over you, you change, you physically, mentally change. I know you feel the same way. And musicians, it's like you become another person, so to speak. And so there's that, and I think if you've got that at its core, then you know, it's about finding out what your chops are, what your abilities are. We've all got unique ways to express ourselves, singers, drummers, keyboard, bass, whatever it might be. You find your own vibe, you know. And again, you only do that by practice, play, you know. I mean, when I come off a stage like I did just recently in Houston after the Ellefson Priest corrosion and conformity thing, I'm still, what can I do better next time?
Sure.
You know, you can never stop learning as a musician. You can never stop learning, you know. So the voice is a thing all in of itself. I never knew I'd be singing Painkiller at almost 75. Thank you for that.
And there are good people singing to the very young.
Yeah, but I can, and that's the thing about singers is that you know, the physical limitations start to come into your work.
Yeah.
And you might say the same about drummers, bass players. Your fingers are different, your body, everything's changing, you know. But I've always felt that as far as the fans are concerned, all your fans want to do is see you on that stage, know you're doing your best, and giving everybody a great time. Those are the three components that you should strive to keep alive within you. But the voice is the voice, you know. I don't know what's going to happen today. We shall see.
These are all songs you know, but
Yes, I do know it. Yes, I've sang breaking the 7,400. There's a place called Setlist. Is it Setlist? FM and Live, I don't know what the hell it's called.
yeah.
That's how many times you sang a song, you know?
Right.
And it's nuts because we're in thousands, you know?
Sure.
We're in thousands, but that's the joy. It's a blessing, you know? Who knew? Who knew? 2025, I was born in 1951. I feel like I lived in Victorian times, David. Jekyll and Hyde, Jack the Ripper experiences. But it is a blessing, and I'm so happy to be able to do the work that I do. And I thank each and every one of you for coming here today to share your experience.
Well, let's open it up to the campers and to the camp and get some questions going.
Awesome. Thank
do
you.
mine?
All right, we'll
We're
start
doing
with
Adam.
you.
All right. Let me say.
Hi, Rob.
Hey,
did the camp with you in 2017. You encouraged me to start a Judas Priest tribute band. I did. I've been impersonating you ever since. In Las Vegas.
Yeah,
We play every month.
beautiful,
Called Turbo Lover.
beautiful.
My best friend was a man named Vinnie Paul. I think you knew him. I worked for him for 15 years at his record company. I drove his tour bus. Him and his brother loved you very much. We talked about you a lot, and I brought you something very special. To me, two things. You did that, Sonny? No, that didn't work. This is something I wanted to give to you. I have a few of these,
Okay.
and it's a special treasure. I wanted to give it to you in private, but it's one of his hats.
That's beautiful. Thank you, man.
I wanted you to have it. I wanted you to have a piece of him
Thank you.
because you,
Right.
you lived in his heart and on Daryl's leg.
That's good.
But this was a gift back for you and Thomas.
Okay, thank you so much. It's
got some things you'll enjoy later.
Anyway,
I just wanted to thank you for doing the camp again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
See, that's part of the power then. It's part of the power, you know. And I love talking about, sorry, love, that's a terrible choice of word, but I'm trying to reference the people that we love and that we've lost, you know. And we do a song in Priest called Giants in the Sky. And we reference towards the end of the sky, at the end of the song, on the big screen behind us, all the people that we've loved and we've lost. Suddenly Peer, Ronnie James Dio, Lennon, Ozzy, Ace Frehley, Janis Joplin, Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, you know, all of these people. I'll do a little bit of a chat before we do that song, just to, again, reinforce and re-emphasize the fact that music is forever. Music that means the world to each and every one of us. Each and every one of us in this room has probably one song that's the most important song to them personally, because it carries so much weight and power and does great things to them from a lot of these friends that we've lost. So with reference to what you just exchanged, thank you so much for that.
Hello again, Rob.
Hello.
I met you about 1 year ago in Independence, Missouri. You might recall the kitty shirt.
Yes, I remember that show.
That's good.
Did you give me one?
I noticed that 2 weeks after we met, you had a tie-dye kitty shirt. I saw the post. I thought it couldn't be a coincidence. I came here, yes, to enjoy every aspect of the camp, but because you asked me to tell you about parts of my time as a combat medic in the Army. And at that moment, you were about to go on stage and for 1,000 people to be the metal god. And I felt this sense of obligation to avoid reminding you of very bad times, which I read about and confess. And so essentially I just said, it was cake, it was gravy, I loved it, we were all fine. I felt conflicted about that ever since, and that maybe I did the right thing because I avoided throwing you off. But also, I feel like I omitted something, which is marginally close to a lie. I've been really encouraged rather, by Britt and Dave to request of you at this point some time to tell you what you wanted to know then, after this is all done. Britt has been kind enough to place my band very last, so there'd be like maybe a greater advantage in being that close to the end so we could share that moment together. And also, the pictures that Polly took of us, I had some printed out, and I would like to have a couple signed, if it's possible. I'd like you to consider spending that time with me.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
And thank you for everything you've ever done. You've been with me for a lot. Whether you know it or not.
Thank you. We talk about the power of music, and in conflict especially, we've made a lot of friends throughout the decades. I'm sure David and everybody will attest to the fact that the great people, some have made the ultimate sacrifice for freedom and democracy here and elsewhere in the world, and how music has helped them through their times of conflict, whether it was in a battle. I know friends that have actually listened to Priest and listened to Megadeth, listened to music to get them through those tough times. And David was just telling me something about what he experienced recently with his friends in Israel and the way that the horrible thing that happened there when music was happening and music was attacked horrifically. But the great thing is that David is doing to show some love and some repair work or recovery to that. So we give a big shout out to the veterans, and of course it's Veterans Day.
Yeah.
And again, it's another extension. You never know where your music is happening. Right now, people are listening to Priest, Megadeth, whatever, come on. You know, the music is always going on somewhere in the world, doing good. If it's a party, you're driving in the car, you're in conflict, you're recovering in hospital, you're recovering in a sober life. Music is just this beautiful expression of humanity that does incredibly powerful things, and with reference to what you just said with the military, that can't be overstated. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
My name's Anthony, and I know I do, and I think I speak for everybody here. We all love you. I mean, I've got two questions. One, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
I don't have one. I was going to do an Aussie when somebody talked about Justin Bieber. He was Justin fucking Bieber, who's there? So, but I will say this: God, I love women. Firstly, I love women.
Yeah.
And I love women musicians. You know, I love women musicians. And I just did a blurb the other day for a newspaper in the UK talking about Dolly, who's about to celebrate her 80th birthday, and the extraordinary fact that I was able to sing Dolly Parton to Jolene together. And then 2 weeks later, she sends me an email, "Hey Rob, would you like," that's my Dolly Parton impression, "Hey Rob, would you like to do a song with me on Rockstar?" Excuse me? So we did this song called Bygones. I don't know whether you've heard it. But it's nuts, you know. I'm just a kid from a council estate in like public housing estate back in the UK. And the next thing is I'm singing with this incredible female artist performer. So, yeah, my love is profound for women in general. Because without women, you and I wouldn't be here. And the beautiful, extraordinary, powerful things that they do in music. Number 2.
Thank you. My last question is, you were around in the 70s and 80s, a lot of drugs, and it sounds like you got sober. Can you talk about your moment of clarity and any of that?
Yeah, Scott, I forgot to tell you this, but Scott over there, I've known Scott for years, and his brother is the metal man of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I couldn't get him on the phone later because I forgot to tell him that my first sober show was at the Tingley Coliseum in 1986 in New Mexico, Albuquerque. That was my first, were you there? That was my first sober show, and I was absolutely terrified. I was terrified. And I talked to Alice about this just after we'd done that thing, and he was saying the same for those of us that whenever Alice went on, he had to have a few drinks under his belt, and it was the same for me. So the first time he sang live, clean and sober, and the first time I sang live, clean and sober, was just something so remarkable. We were both so elevated, you know, just to feel the music for the first time in its purest sense, uncluttered, you know, in reality, and to hear yourself and your voice, what it could do, your bandmates. You know, why did I need this stuff? You know, I didn't need any of that to get me where I am, you know. So we'll try and reach him afterwards, Scott. But yeah, like a lot of our business used to have a horrible trail of losing people and people getting into really bad ways. A lot of us have recovered. Nowadays, when the two of us pulls up, the guys jump off the bus and they pull the weights and the skipping rope from underneath the luggage racks, and that's great. There's, it's less of a thing now, because it was peer pressure. You know, you'd read these rock and roll stories about rockers doing crazy stuff, dangerous stuff, but you felt like it was a rite of passage. You had to go through that for some extraordinary reason. I do that because so-and-so did that, you know, and then you're giving your life away for some other purpose in cause, which is, you know, we should never do. So anyway, by the grace of God go I, and one day at a time, and I never want to wake up feeling sick and tired, which is what I used to do.
Was there a moment that changed you, a moment of clarity?
Yeah. It's difficult to express that moment, but when you've had your stomach pumped because you were so sick of feeling sick and everything around you was so black and dark that you just wanted to leave all of that. That was part of the first major mental crisis that I went through, and then shortly afterwards, after punching the wall for the umpteenth time, my guy was like, you need walls fixed, because I was a puncher. You know, after so many drinks, I've become angry at myself and start punching walls. Drywall was my favourite. You know. And so, there's a point. Anybody in recovery will tell you that there's a point where they're just sick and tired of feeling sick and tired anymore. And then you make a change, you know. And you think it's going to be easy from that point on? No, every day. For me, every day. You know, when a beer commercial comes on, or a hard liquor commercial comes on, I'm like that. It's just, it's amazing. It never ever leaves you. That's why it's called an addiction. I'm an addict, you know. I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. So it never ever leaves your body. The strength and power that you pull on from your higher power, from the tools that you have from staying clean and sober, is a reference right now. It's always ticking in the back of your mind, you know. So I'm just so happy and grateful that I'm at this place and living in the moment. Living in the moment. Live in the moment. And that was so difficult. Personally, to tell you you're powerless and go, what? Yeah, you have no power. What?
My first drug addict tour was with Alice Cooper. My first sober tour was with Rob Halford on the Painkiller tour. So I'm still between.
Thank you, Jeff.
And now we're all clean, so there you go. It doesn't kill you, only gets you clean and sends you to Rock King, you know? Go ahead.
What's your favorite song you've ever wrote and why?
Song I've ever written?
Song from the road or song you've written?
Written.
Written, song you've written. Yeah.
That's just so tough. You know, I love the party stuff. Living after midnight is just such a great feel. You know, it's just so full of all the good things about music that it can do for you. I mean, we've written and recorded, I think, close to 300 songs in this band that have made it to an album. Lots of them didn't, but there's a ton of them. I've always enjoyed Victim of Changes, and I'm not saying that just because I'm reading it. It's just that song really is the embodiment of the early roots of heavy metal. You know, Sad Wings of Destiny was the second album that we made. Sad Wings of Destiny is 50 years old next year. Album in 1976. But that song, the way it begins with the twin lead guitars, which was an innovation of itself, because we were the first metal band that had twin lead guitars. And thanks to Wishbone Ash, as KK would always say, because he was a man of Wishbone Ash, still is. So we took that, and then the way it crashes in, you know, and then the first vocal performance, and then the cool down bit, you know, with the floaty stuff and the guitars and everything, and then the crescendo. So it's an amalgamation of metal ideas all in one song. you can break it down into different components, but when they join together from the beginning to the end, it's an extraordinary piece of music. So I would say for today, for right now, expect to be changes.
Just for today.
Changes every day, doesn't it?
Yes.
Hi, Rob. Hey, thanks for the support for the military. I did 20 years, my budget was 23, so we appreciate you. My
Thank you.
question-
Congrats.
Hey, thanks, man. My question is really kind of about the newer Judas Priest. How important was the introduction of Richie Faulkner to the band?
Yeah.
Great guitar player, man.
Yeah, you know, it's so hard to keep a band together,
Oh, yeah.
isn't it?
I always say the hardest thing, the only thing harder than getting to the top is staying on the top, right?
Yes.
I mean, and trying to keep that together, right? Yeah.
It's so, you know, you see all these guys and girls upstate, and then we're so fragile. We're so fragile as people.
Yeah.
Because music is emotion. It's emotion, plain and simple. So you're dealing with that as a catalyst to work with, to stay within a band and to keep your band together. It's really hard work. It's very, very tough. And so when KK decided to do what he did, like all the other bands we know about, where somebody decided to go and wander off into the woods 10 years now, oh, why am I here? I should be back with the band I love. It was just, it was tough. We didn't know what we were going to do, you know. And then, I mean, Richie's been with us for 10, 12 years, hasn't he, I think, already. We found him on the internet. We had to be very careful. You know, heavy metal band sits, new guitar player. You can't do that.
Only serious people need
Yes, please. So I forget how we found him, but we found him, and when Glenn and I saw him, he went, "That's the guy. You know, don't you? Instinctively, when you're holding auditions, that's the guy, that's the girl. You know, that's the person." So we sent.
It is visual as well, right?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
talking about the listening with your eyes.
Yes.
Like seeing someone and feeling like they're
Yes.
they're a brother, they're part
That's
of the
right. And so we'd already done work with Steve Harris's daughter Lauren on
Yep.
he's been on the road, so that's so important. God, when you go on the road, that's another dealing thing that you've got to work with. Oh, it's one thing to be in a band in a jam room.
Yeah.
Then when you get on the bus, everything changes. It's an extraordinary life. But with Richie, we sent him emails and he kept deleting them because it was a joke. Honestly, we sent him 6 emails and delete. And then somehow or another, somebody said, "You keep deleting these emails," and you just be, "Oh, it's spam, dude. It's spam." No, it's not. They really wanted to be in touch. So I was over at Glenn's and Richie came up from London, and we just chit-chatted briefly. And you know how it is when you meet somebody for the first time. Within a few moments, the feels are there, and
Right.
so we talked for about 10 minutes, and I said, "Let's just jam." So we'd set up a stack for him in Glenn's studio. I said, "Just go and play, you know, just get loose." So he goes off into the other room, starts playing, and we just looked at each other. Just, you know,
Yeah.
this is the guy.
That's the guy.
This is the guy. And so that's how he came into the priest world. And it's great to work, because he was a kid. I look at him when he first joined the band, he looks like he was 12 on stage. And now the rigors of the road. He's a beautiful guy, and what an extraordinary man to go through what he did with the birthday order. It's just crazy. Less than 3% of people survive, you know. And so, when that happened to him, when he was playing Painkiller at Louder Than Life, his chest cavity was filling up with blood as he was playing the lead for Painkiller. He went down on one knee, you know, and we finished the song when he walks up the stage and sits down and he's telling his dad, "I don't feel right, you know." So the medics came and said, "We're taking you to the hospital." So we're in the dressing room waiting what's going on. He comes in, All of this is going on. Right now, this guy is, it's like the Grim Reaper is waiting in the corner. So they took him to this incredible heart hospital in Lexington, Louisville, Kentucky. And by now, we're on the plane to Dallas because we had 3 days break. And he said, "Oh, I'll see you in Dallas. I'll be over there, you know." So we're flying. We've got Wi-Fi on the plane, getting texted. He's in surgery. He was in surgery for like 12 hours. And what they did was just extraordinary. He wakes up with his other half, Mariah. He goes, "Where am I?" She goes, "You're in hospital." He goes, "I've got to get ready. I've got a show tonight." And he's got all these hooks and tubes and things in his body. And there it was, you know. And I said to him when I saw him later, I said, "This wasn't your time, you know. God has more work for you to do. It's simple as that." Less than 3% survived, and you were standing there and we're talking. And so there it is. The stories that we have in the music business of survivors, you know, that have pulled through from extraordinary odds is just, again, an expression of power. Because he used music to recover. He used his music to recover. He couldn't play guitar for the longest time because he was so weak. But he couldn't wait to get, you know, hold that piece of wood and start making it. And listen to music all the time. Therapy, recover, heal. All these things that music does. So there it is. There's your Richie Faulkner story.
One more.
We're gonna see another Christmas record?
I don't know. That was a fluke, you know. Well, the thing is, like I love Christmas time and I love Christmas music. And when I made that first winter songs with Roy Z, out in LA, we had a blast making it. And then, how many have I done? 2. So then we had the chance to do Crucible with my brother on drums and my nephew on bass in my kitchen in England. Yeah, I like it, and I like the whole experience. So I do have something on the back burner, man, as they say.
Always got something in the pipe.
Yeah, it's always important. It's always important to have a destination. It doesn't matter whether you just go to the shops, you know. A destination, have a focus, have somewhere to go and something to do. If you can do that, that's the great thing.
Yeah, one more, there we go.
Hi, Rob. My name's Chirrut. I'm really freaking huge fan of you. And I want to ask you, what would you say is your favorite moment out of your whole Judas Priest career and being the godfather of metal?
When we were in Shoreline Amphitheatre, yes, recently, somebody came running into the room with the phone and said, "Look at this picture." It was a picture of the band on stage at Oakland Coliseum in 1976-ish. Day on the Green, Bill Graham, one of the greatest promoters ever, he revolutionized the rock and roll business for looking after bands. You know, because bands were in the back seat, it was the money that was leading the way, and the bands were being treated terribly. So all praise to Bill. Oakland Coliseum, 80,000 people at 11 a.m. in the morning, there was a 4 p.m. curfew, opening up for Led Zeppelin. The Led Zeppelin. There's a picture of us, you can see it's tiny ants on the stage. So the reason I referenced that song is because it was like a changing point for the band. Everybody came to Oakland, mostly from California, but from elsewhere, to see Zeppelin, but to open up for that band, like we did. Everything changed after that. That's the power of a big event. You know, it's like we just did the Power Trip with AC/DC and Metallica, Tool and others. These big events transcend a lot of things, and they become a permanent moment, not only for you, but for everybody that attended. So that probably was the most memorable and effective show that I can recall. There's probably a bunch of others, but that one just rings the bell.
And just like you were the fan opening for Led Zeppelin at Power Trip, James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett air guitaring down in front of you guys. Flashing.
Yeah, I love that band, you know.
The hero worship continues down.
Yeah, look what those guys do, you know, I mean, God bless them, they're a great bunch of guys. And there is just,
On and on it goes.
yeah, it just goes, you know, I mean, there's none of the room's not warm, the room's too cold. Take those red M&Ms out of the bowl, you know. The limerence and the right, all that drama doesn't exist for them. They're the purest, and I think this is the thing about bands that have generally been able to stand the test of time. Firstly, it's the music leads the way. And then it's the kindness that you generate. If you project and generate kindness and goodness, things come back into your life. You don't have to make an effort, just be pure and just, you know, be grateful. And then great things can happen with that. And those guys are just, what can you say?
Do you think it's
already
harder?
said, they're the biggest metal band in the history of the world, but you tell that to their face and they'll just wander off because they don't want to hear that. You know, it's a strange thing when musicians get praised because we feel a little bit,
Yeah, it's a little.
that's not what I'm about, you know, and it's not being rude. It's just that's just a thing. We just want to do what we love to do, and we're blessed by the fans that support us and give us that life. But the fact that those guys were out front, I didn't know about it until, you know.
Well, they told me all about it.
Somebody-
Like, yeah, I saw it on MTV, or I saw it on YouTube. You guys were thrashing the
It's
Judas
just great.
Priest.
It's just great.
Yeah. Should we make some music?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Everybody.